with authority. Aloha!
Welcome to the most must-listen podcast in Barry Sports. Welcome to ABC7 Sports
with authority.
I'm Emmy Pratt. That's Larry Beal. We are inside the ABC7 Sports department, and we are joined by super producer Leonard Torres, who doesn't want us to say his name, but we did it anyway.
By the way,
you guys
it is
always
nice.
say my name. What are you talking about?
It's nice that he actually joined us for our podcast.
Full
He's
squad.
The producer who rarely shows up, but
Who
we'll
says I wasn't on some secret mission or something?
it's entirely possible.
He's a
I
man
can't
of
talk
mystery.
about it.
All right, coming up on the show. Where do the Warriors go from here? Oh my, oh my. Since the last time we potted it up, catastrophic, devastating, mind-boggling. I can't believe this happened. Injuries to KD and Clay. We'll talk about that. Is there life after the Dubs in the Bay Area for sports fans?
Let's hope so.
You have your choice. Giants, A's, 49ers, Raiders, earthquakes.
Yay!
Sabercats aren't still
to
going,
all
are they?
that.
They're not going, are they? The first pitch of a lifetime, and what will be your first purchase with Facebook's new cryptocurrency, Libra. We're all over
Cha-ching.
the crypto. We should turn this into a crypto podcast also.
We might get a lot of hits if we did that.
You know how many crypto podcasts disappeared when the price plummeted from 20 grand down to 3,100?
They all went bye-bye.
Yeah.
But this one is going to go to the moon.
When moon. I'm still, by the way, I'm very upset with you because I was going to buy back in when it went below 3,000 and it got to 3,100 and then started this climb back up to 9. Why didn't you say, you idiot, buy
more
at 3,100 or 3,200? You just let me.
The damage had already been done.
Yeah, well, the damage psychologically may last for decades if this thing doesn't turn around. Talk Warriors?
Yeah, speaking of damage being done. Wow.
All right, so when we first started doing these podcasts, you came up with the Dubs Dynasty Doomsday Clock. And I think we saw Doomsday in the finals, but I got news for you on the clock. I took out the batteries because I didn't want it to actually strike 12. I thought when Clay and KD both went down, especially, well, KD was bad enough, but then to have Clay Thompson, I was actually concerned. As much as I wanted them to win Game 6 against Toronto, I was worried that they would win and then have to play a Game 7, and then what if Steph got hurt or Dre? I mean, you're just thinking about these catastrophic sequences that if they just don't play any more games. Just everybody go home right now.
Yeah, it's the rare series where it almost would have been better had they just gotten swept, which is crazy
terrible
to think about. Had they just been swept, KD wouldn't have been hurt, Clay wouldn't have been hurt, and heading into next year, we're talking reload and going after it all over again. Now we're talking Dubs Dynasty Doomsday Clock. And the thing about it is we kind of came up with it tongue-in-cheek, and then it became a thing we ended up talking about every single week because it was just issue after issue after issue. And then when the finals came around, it was, I mean, each game was its own, like, soap opera.
You know what was really funny?
Crazy.
It occurred to me. Well, first, the finals, even though it didn't go the distance, it went 6 games, it felt like it was 6 months.
Oh, absolutely.
Because when KD went down, after we sorted through all of the who to blame and what's going on and what is his real injury, and it occurred to me, Mark Stevens shoving Kyle Lowry was like in Game 3 of the series. That was the Warriors' first. Nobody even remembered Mark. Remember, there was this outrage about an owner touching a player and all this, the ramifications of it. And then a few days later, Mark Stevens' name was never mentioned again. It was all about blaming. Who do we blame for Durant's injury?
Yeah, and the fact that we've completely glossed over the Beehive going after Nicole Lacob.
Right,
I mean, it was just like every game brought its own circus and subplots and storylines. And then on top of all that, it was like, when's KD coming back? When's KD coming back? What's going on? When's KD coming back? And then he finally comes back in Game 5. Everything is right in the Warriors' world for a moment.
For 14 minutes.
12 of the 14 minutes he played, and then the Achilles goes. And then it was just devastation. We had Bob Myers crying after the game live on our show. I mean, we had the fans cheering, and it was disrespectful. I mean, there was so many different reactions and raw emotions, the highs and the lows of everything that happened in the wake of the Durant injury, and then Clay goes down.
Right. Well, go back a second, because we probably spent, not on the podcast because we weren't doing it, 6 months talking about KD to the Knicks. And the Knicks' plans have just been eviscerated this offseason because anything they wanted to do, well, we still have to see. Kyrie to the Nets seems like the destination. But whatever they wanted to put together, whether it was KD and AD or Kyrie, whatever combination, there's a good chance you'll get nothing and like it.
Yeah.
And in a really bizarre way, the injuries to KD and Clay probably enhances their return to the Warriors.
In a weird way, it does. And I actually, all along on this pod especially, have been saying I thought KD was going to stay. I know there's a lot of rumblings he was going to go. I think the odds of him staying are increased greatly. And I think that if they are going to do it, they should offer him the full-blown max. Don't even shortchange him. Give the man a statue. Give him everything he wants. He laid his life on the line out there. He put his career on the line.
He gave his tendon.
I mean, that's a very important tendon. And he went out there and he battled. He tried. He gave it a great effort. He hit big threes, 3 of them. It just didn't work out. So I guess if we're going to talk Dubs Dynasty Doomsday Clock, maybe it'd be interesting for me to take like the optimistic point of view and you to take the pessimistic point of view on the next season coming up.
Why would we want to flip our normal personalities?
I think characteristically that fits us better.
You think?
Do you want to go first,
so,
Mr. Pessimism?
So, well, I can see a path to goodness.
Okay.
It's not going to be greatness. A path to goodness. But it all hinges, actually, on something that I did not know existed.
Space Jam 2?
No, sadly, I knew that was coming. Starring Klay Thompson with LeBron James. It's funny, if you look at the cast, the number of free agents that LeBron has managed to put in this movie. He's constantly tampering, but at least he got AD out of it, so that was really more a manufactured thing. They botched the whole thing, the Lakers did. Now they have $23 million to spend, and they have like 10 roster spots open.
It'll be fun to watch.
It will be interesting. But there's this thing called the injured player exception.
Mm-hmm.
And the Warriors, they're capped out because of all the set. Look, Steph is making $40 million a year. I think they're going to give Clay the max, and I think he would be at $38 million. Durant would be in that $40 million range. So the luxury tax, I mean, we're talking like $300 million total payroll if you figure out all the tax money.
If you signed everybody and signed Draymond the following year, you're looking at about $350 million per year tying up those guys.
That's for 4 dudes.
Yeah.
So
that's going to blow you past any other payroll in sports.
What is a beer going to cost at the Chase Center?
$350 million.
It's going to say, this is for your luxury tax. It's because they're going to put it on the beer. They're just going to put it right there. But the injured player exception allows you to replace, let's say, a Durant, and you get I think it's $9.3 million for that 1 year. But it comes with the caveat that you have to declare player X is going to be out for the entire season. So the question would be, if Durant is coming back, would he go for a scenario where you're ultra cautious and ultra conservative, given the blame that went down when he got hurt? And they're lying, it's an Achilles, it was an Achilles all along, look at where they're putting the ice. Avoid all of that and just say, can we agree that you are not going to play this upcoming season, and give your body, give your leg more than enough time to rehab and recover? And so if they do that, they would get the $9 million that they could spend on a quality player, Rudy Gay, or somebody like that. Plus, you would still have the mid-level exception, which is 5.7. So you could start to put some decent pieces around Steph and Draymond. And let's say you're treading water for a while, okay? The tricky thing here is, like, Steve Kerr joked with the Commissioner Adam Silver that can't we just take a sabbatical next year and can we all go to Italy and drink wine and ride bicycles?
I think they should take a sabbatical to the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, well,
and then they'd be fine.
Yeah, they would be fine in the East. But do you like to use the term the go hards? Are you going to be are you going to be the go hard team that's trying to tread water long enough for Clay to come back from his ACL surgery? That's usually a 6 month to 9 month. Let's say he's back around the All-Star break and you've got him for the last 2.5 months of the season. Are you into making the push for let's try to get the 7 spot or try to get the 8 spot and make the playoffs and catch lightning in a bottle? Because you would still have the team that we saw finish off the Rockets, then sweep the Blazers in the Western Conference Finals, and obviously the thing with Toronto didn't go well, but they would be competitive with the elite teams in the league. So I don't know. Was that pessimistic enough?
It wasn't. But why don't you look at it like this? You mentioned this earlier, but not in the show, but earlier in the day when we were just chatting. But there are 8 playoff spots in the West, and there are teams that are improving. So where do the Warriors fit? Can they get one of those 8 in their banged up state?
I think it's going to be hard because you have to figure that without going down the whole list of teams, the Lakers are going to move up. The Jazz just acquired Mike Conley, so they'll be a better team to go with Donovan Mitchell there. You got your OKCs, you got the Clippers, especially if they get Kawhi Leonard. The Warriors would be fighting in this weakened state for that bottom rung if you assume the Lakers are really going to be that much better. Just they play 2 on 5.
Kings are getting better.
The Kings,
rising
the Kings,
slowly.
I think they finished 9 games out of the last spot. Once Bagley got hurt in the last month of the season, they kind of went down the drain. But it's going to be a struggle for them with a weakened lineup. But do you just say, okay, it's our gap year, we're just going to chill? And the problem with that is Steph and Draymond are in the prime of their careers.
Yeah.
Do you want to just throw away one of Steph Curry's best? I mean, he could do a James Harden if he wanted to.
He could put up MVP numbers this year.
He could go for 40 every night. I mean, maybe that would.
They're going to need him to.
Well, that's true. That's true also. 40 might not be enough, but do you want that and to just run him into the ground? Draymond would have to look to score more. You don't know. They've got to get other pieces because they just couldn't score at the end of the season. But to me, I could see a scenario, since I'm Mr. Pessimism.
Yeah, I was about to commend you. The pessimism is really oozing out of you right now.
No, but
it's pouring out.
I could see a scenario where they're at least competitive and waiting for the cavalry to come in. But I'm not even sure. It's mind-blowing to me. We talked about the tax figures. And if you're looking at Joey Lightyear's,
I got some numbers on this.
Joe Lacob saying, "Wait a second, I'm going to pay how much money to tank, essentially, to not win? We're going to take a gap year when
in the first year of our new arena,
right? And I'm going to pay 70 to 80 million to 2 dudes who are not going to play. Although Clay will come back.
They will pay them.
Yeah,
they're
going to pay them. But how much money do I have to pay to not make the playoffs? And we all agree we're not going for it? Is that what we're doing?
No.
Is that pessimistic enough?
That is the peak pessimistic pouring
right,
that you
numbers
just delivered.
And optimism.
So I'll go numbers first, then optimism. But we mentioned earlier it would tie up about $350 million in payroll to sign all these big all-stars they have. It's going to cost them a grand total of $1.6 billion
with a
if
B?
they were to sign all 4 of these guys.
But not for 1 year. That's a 4-year.
For their whole contracts. Check this out. The Chase Center, $1.3 billion to build.
So they would be paying 4 guys more money than it costs to build a whole new arena?
Than it costs for the entire Chase Center. And that's funny because those are the guys that essentially built the Chase Center with the way they played and the way they performed. So there is hope. The Warriors have already netted or plan to net $2 billion in profits right from the jump on this thing. All the concerts, shows, food, everything. They own and run this arena now.
Right.
They're not doling out any money to the city, the county, Oracle Arena, all these other vendors. This is their show.
Right.
So they plan to make $2 billion in profits, and that number is going to keep going up.
But that's not an annual.
No, but that's an early net. So they are looking at that number rising too. So I think they can afford it.
Oh, there's
I
no
think they
question
can absolutely afford it.
They could. Do you want to afford it? Is
I
really
say
the question.
yes, and I don't know if I really want to go down the road. I'm sure it would be worth the $9-something million to just say, KD, we're taking care of you. You're out for the year period. We're taking the exemption. It would be worth the $9 million alone, and just the question Steve Kerr won't have to answer all year. When's KD coming back? When's he back? Where is he? What's up with him? When's he coming back? On the other hand, Achilles injuries can be a 9-month recovery time. We still don't know what the recovery time we're looking at is, but if you could tread water in the West, get Clay back around the All-Star break, Clay, Curry, and Draymond with whatever pieces you can cobble together plus Iguodala, I think you're looking at a playoff team. And then if you can get in and then Kevin Durant's back, finals run. Boom.
Well, they could be the 8th seed at that point.
But it'll take everybody out.
Okay, all right. Let's fast forward.
There's optimism.
Let's fast forward to the 9-month recovery window that you're talking about for Kevin Durant. And you and I, we're here. It's 9 months later. And you and I are here. And what is the story going to be? Every single day, Kevin Durant is about to come back.
Here's video of him walking. Here's video of him. How's his gait? What's his gait look like? Where's the ice pack? ...
Is it too soon?
Is it too soon? Are we rushing him back?
Are we rushing him back?
When's he going to come back? Why isn't he back? Are we rushing him back?
But we need him. But we need him.
Whose fault is this?
To get that 8th spot. I don't even want to think about it.
It's almost worth the $9 million not to have that.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
But if you can get him back, you could win the championship again in the first year of the Chase Center.
Stop, please.
You can do it.
No,
it's doable.
It is doable, but you're putting together a string. It's like we need planetary alignment here to take place with all this, and I just don't know that as an organization they want to go through this again. I mean, you have so many stories that are out there that it was the Achilles all the time. It was the Achilles. They were just they wouldn't say it because they didn't want to damage his free agency. They were all in on it. They cooked this whole thing up to say calf,
But a lot of that was noise. Episode 12 of this podcast, we diagnosed all that. We went through all the noise. We cut through it all. It was all nonsense.
I know, but
who cares what people think? As long as KD's happy. As long as the team's happy.
But they do, obviously. And if you're Dr. Rick Celebrini, you probably would like to keep practicing medicine at some point
that
beyond
dude needs
this.
An off-season
not always answering questions about your credibility and do you even know what injury you're treating? And so I just don't know that they would be willing to go down that road again. Unless you'd have to have KD, just sign off on that whole thing.
Absolutely.
I don't even want to think about what that would be like.
Now, if he come back,
just imagine even if he just.
He'd want to come back.
If he twisted his ankle, it would be DEFCON 1. We would immediately go, this wouldn't have happened if he didn't get rushed back.
Yeah. I just like the option being open.
I
think if KD can play, he's going to want to play. He's not going to want to sit out when he can play, if he can play, and that's a big if.
So this gets tricky because now I don't know how the rules work when you have to declare for this injured player exception. So this would have to be something that would be before the season, would be my guess.
So there's the problem, right? Because you're not going to know his recovery time until mid to late recovery. So,
and we don't even know if he's coming back. So whatever player he went to, in fact, this would work for the Knicks, even though they cleared out.
If he doesn't come back, then all this is solved.
Well, from
the Warriors.
But I'm talking about for the $9 million. If you want to get a player for that, but if he left, that they don't get the $9 million, the injured, unless Clay were to sit out, and Clay's not going to sit out.
No, he'll be back.
But midway. I just wonder if you go to Durant in the summertime. Let's assume that he said, "Hey, I'm not doing any more of these 1-on-1s. Not after this. I'm taking my 5 years and giving the max." So let's say you came to him in July or August and said, "Hey, actually, you may not even be able to wait that long because all the free agents are going to be signed in the next few weeks." You'd have to know whether you were going down that road early.
Yeah.
Now that we're talking through this, and I'm not sure they're going to know that, but man, that would be hard if you were to present him a scenario. Okay, would you agree? No matter where we are in the standings, what the scenarios are, you are not gonna play. Are you cool with that? If he was cool with it,
then you do it.
As an organization, I would say.
It's a tough decision.
And Joey Lightyears is going,
But the Chase Center.
What am I paying
We
for?
need a finals.
Well, think about it. I mean,
You're paying
you really have
$1
to.
billion.
Okay, welcome to my new building, and here's Jonas Jerebko
man.
for your enjoyment.
We're gonna add another layer of luxury suites, actually.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I think that we saw something interesting this week. It was the California bet. Will a team from California win the NBA Finals?
Versus the field.
Versus
so you
the
could
field.
take Warriors, Lakers, Clippers, or Kings versus the rest of the NBA.
Yeah.
I not
like
like
Cali
it.
in that?
I love that bet.
Interesting.
I don't know what the value is on that.
Well, you'd
I
have to be very confident then that it's going to be either the Lakers or the Clippers. I think it was plus like 200 something.
Wait, you said Lakers or Clippers?
Well, you're saying the Warriors aren't going to get there.
You were Mr. Optimism.
I think
30
the Warriors
seconds
are going
ago.
to get there.
So that would give
I think they could.
That would give you 3 chances at the prize.
Yeah.
Versus, especially, well, if Kawhi stays in Toronto, you're probably going to have to deal with the Raptors again.
Yeah.
If he goes to the Clippers,
Well, then the Clippers' chances improve.
suddenly,
greatly.
I mean, the Clippers were pretty, as we saw in the first round of the playoffs. They were hard to take out. You add Kawhi Leonard to that squad.
Man.
Okay, so I don't know who else is going to be on the Lakers beyond LeBron and AD. I don't know, even though Rob Pelinka was able to engineer this deal, if you look at the number of draft picks and draft swaps that New Orleans got in this thing, this is, I mean, you'd have to go, this would be for the YouTube crowd. I mean, it's a laundry list that just never, and you want what, and you want what, and you want what, and you want a pick swap, and it's never ending what they gave up. It's crazy because it makes it really hard to go forward and fill out the rest of your roster. But that's where they are. Having said that, I like that bet, the California bet.
Yeah. No, it's not bad. It's not bad. The
We
field is hard to pass up, but
Well, who do you want?
I don't
know. Who else are you thinking would be their arch rivals? The Sixers? You think it's anybody in the East? The Celtics the Celtics are losing all of their players.
yeah, they're gone.
Sixers?
I mean, I guess it depends.
Raptors?
If Kawhi jumps to
Bucks?
the Clippers, then it changes everything for
Bucks, best team in the league last
me.
year.
Yeah, till
I
the
would
Raptors took them out.
I would take all California versus the Bucks.
Let's do it. We're going to talk a little cryptocurrency later. We'll get the
Would
crypto.
Would you
we'll
put
get it loaded.
How many biddies would you
We'll
put
put
on
all
that
the
bet?
Bitcoin on that bet.
We'll
win.
All my Libra. I'm putting my
We'll
Libra on.
All right. So we'd mentioned it in the open, but the NBA Finals ended. And for us, every year, the finals are on ABC. We get so entrenched in the finals and the day-to-day and the soap opera that the second it ends, we almost look up like, take a deep breath. And then we kind of like scan the landscape of Bay Area sports. And we look up and we go, oh, no.
Oh, my goodness.
What is next?
We have 4 giant TVs on the other
Just
side
behind
of these cameras.
these beautiful cameras that you're watching on
and
YouTube.
It's an array of baseball, much of it bad on a nightly basis, and the NHL awards. So we're desperate.
It's a little ugly right now.
We're searching for content.
Yeah.
And that raised your question.
What are you, Larry Beal, most excited about in Bay Area sports in this post-Warriors world we currently live in?
It's not the Giants.
You don't say.
I'm curious about the Giants just in terms of how they manage this whole Bumgarner situation. And Will Smith, as we tape, was 19 for 19 in saves, so that means he's going to get moved to somebody. But the A's are intriguing for what might be once they get healthy. And I just made a list of, because it actually drives me crazy when you have to watch a Giants game and they just can't get the ball out of the infield or like 2 or 3 runs.
And then the A's score 16 runs on the TV
exactly.
next door.
But I just made a list, because we touched on this a few weeks ago, of the young players that the A's have, all of whom are better than the Giants' best guy that they are hoping for. And it's mind-boggling how you could swing and miss as an organization so many times on developing position players, and you keep trotting out. I mean, love Buster Posey for all he's done, and Brandon Belt, much maligned, but it's you look at the A's, and well, Ramon Laureano was like a stud from the
Just
day
a total
he showed
steal
up.
from the Astros too.
Mark Canha, Chad Pinder, okay, the new catcher Bo Taylor, Robbie Grossman, who you'd never even hear of the guy, Nick Martini, and in the wings, Franklin Barreto and Jorge Mateo, and that's not even talking any of the pitching that they have coming back from injuries. The Giants would kill for any of these dudes.
Yeah, and they have a stud catcher coming up, Sean Murphy, too. So the A's are loaded. And then you look at the pitching they have right now. I mean, they've cobbled together a rotation 2 years in a row, but Jesus Luzardo is knocking on the door in AAA right now. A.J. Puck's coming back. Jarrell Cotton kind of had a setback, but he's working his way back. And also Sean Manaea, who no-hit the Red Sox last year, is nearing rehab, too. So you have a full rotation coming.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. I wasn't deliberately leaving out Matt Chapman and Matt Olson. I didn't even count them.
Oh, they're just too damn good.
Yeah, no, they're exactly.
They're obvious.
They're so obvious. I'm just talking about guys that you may not necessarily see or hear every single day because the A's just have so many guys, and the Giants have the opposite of that. And how you could, I mean, it's not like they were trying to be bad. They were trying to cobble it together and rebuild it on the fly, and just
what you're talking about right now just started reminding me of the Warriors.
What?
Cobbling it together and trying to stay good.
Oh!
I think it's a different scenario. I'm not
Now,
going there.
who's Mr. Pessimism
no,
now?
No. But you look at the Giants, what they should have done all along, and you always heard me yelling about it, is rebuild, tear it down and rebuild. And instead they tried to cobble it together, and they threw away 3 to 4 seasons where they've been terrible with no help on the way. The A's, as annoying as it can be sometimes to see these trades, they tear it down, and they did rebuild, and that's where they stocked the farm, and that's why they're good now.
Oh, they tear it down.
They
to
tear
the
it
studs,
down,
baby.
But you look at certain trades they make, and it's like so funny. People are so bummed when Sean Doolittle gets traded, but would you rather have Trinan or Doolittle?
Well, now obviously.
Would you? And I believe Jesus Luzardo was in that deal. So you look at like these moves, and they all make so much sense after the fact. At the time they hurt, but right now they're on the rise. So you're actually going to go with the A's. You're excited about the A's?
No.
Is that what I'm hearing here?
No. I was basically just
You're
pointing
teeing up
out
my argument?
I was pointing out that the Giants have done a poor job of restocking the cupboard while the A's have been busy shopping crazily online. But I was just going to go straight to 49ers and leap over the summer, since I'm going to go on vacation soon anyway. And then we'll come back, and then I'll see Jimmy G and what the 49ers have in store. This is really, I mean, look, honeymoon over, guys, for Shanahan and Lynch. You got to start winning some games. And I know they've had injuries, and we never even saw McKinnon last year because he got hurt before.
No, and Jimmy G's the ACL. You can't blame him. You can't blame Shanahan and Lynch.
I'm not. No, but I'm just saying.
They haven't had the results yet, but it's hard to like pin it down on him so far.
Well, look, injuries, as we've seen, happen in sports. You have to figure out a way to get it done. When you lose a franchise quarterback, it's almost impossible. But that's what I'm most looking forward to when you talk about the landscape of Bay Area sports. And the Raiders will be intriguing also if it really is their final year in Oakland. We may do that dance, and who knows where the construction really is with Vegas.
It could be another
crazy
year.
if they stay another year after this.
Honestly, that'd be embarrassing.
It's a long goodbye.
That'd be embarrassing.
It's a long kiss goodbye. But 49ers or Raiders for you if we skip over.
I mean, obviously the answer I think is 49ers. You get Jimmy G back. You have some key players.
Antonio Brown doesn't excite you?
I was going to get to that, though. I really am excited and intrigued by Antonio Brown and Carr, and I think that it's going to be fun to watch. I don't know if they're going to be like a playoff team, but it'll be entertaining. It'll certainly be entertaining.
Well, Gruden spent 9 years doing TV. Mike Mayock was on TV forever. So you have two TV guys with Hard Knocks coming in.
I'm excited for Hard Knocks.
Yeah,
I love Hard Knocks, and to have it be on a local franchise, for us, that's going to be killer to watch.
I actually think Gruden is better on TV than he is coaching at this point. That is my. That would
I
be
don't
a hot,
disagree with you.
That would be a hot
that's
take.
Not a
I
hot
guess,
take, man.
I just think
he's
that's what it is.
probably one of the most overrated coaches in the history of football.
I mean, we don't need to go through the whole
no
thing
doubt about
with,
it.
Tampa Bay and inheriting a team, and they won the Super Bowl. They're playing the Raiders because he knew all their plays and all that.
But he's entertaining, man.
It's
going to be fun to watch. It's going to be good drama. It's going to be good theater. give us stuff to talk about, and that's fine with me. I think the Niners are probably the most exciting thing going. The Raiders will be entertaining, and just like last year when we had this exact same thing, we came off the championship parade for the Warriors, we looked up, we surveyed the landscape, we sighed and thought, oh, this is going to be miserable. And then the A's just out of nowhere went moon. And so I think the A's are exciting. I think it's going to be possibly a playoff run. We'll see. Get some guys back. They're over 500. They're treading water right now, but they finished strong. So I think that will be entertaining.
This was roughly the same point a year ago when the Giants and A's were kind of in a similar
malaise,
and then the Giants continued malaising. Actually, I don't know what, when you go backwards from malaising, none of these are real words, by the way.
No.
But the A's just took off like a rocket, and the Giants further submerged themselves.
And we had a bet on who would finish with a better record, the A's or the Giants, and I won that in a landslide. Yeah. And this year, I think I might win that one again, although I gave you 15 games.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I would agree. But are you looking forward to more A's than Niners or Raiders?
Oh, man, I'm a huge football fan. I love fantasy football. Antonio Brown, thank you very much for winning me all my money last year. And
Again.
I offered him to Larry in a trade for Le'Veon Bell straight up. Larry said no, Le'Veon Bell didn't play a single game. Antonio Brown won me a championship.
Le'Veon Bell's coming back. I got week 8, week 9, week 10.
Anyways, my answer will be A's, although I'm very excited about the NFL and what it's going to bring for us. Now, speaking of the A's, we talked a lot about these upcoming prospects, pitchers, arms coming out of the pen. The A's minor league affiliate, the Stockton Ports, had a really electric first pitch the other day. It was awesome.
I heard this kid was bringing it.
Crazy heat. So several months ago, my daughter Emerson, she's had a really rough run. She had spent about 53 days in the hospital. She had heart surgery. She had some complications. She's all good now. But she went back for 2 more weeks recently because she had some problems breathing and needed breathing support. And so while we were stuck in there, the Stockton Ports reached out. A guy named Peter Fiorentino, awesome guy, reached out and offered to have Emerson come out and throw the first pitch because she was stuck in the hospital for her birthday. So they're like, let's just throw her a huge birthday bash in Stockton. We'll just have a great time for her. And we obviously accepted. It's crazy.
So she's how old now?
2 years old.
Okay.
And so 2-year-old Emerson missed her birthday. She was stuck in Children's Hospital, Oakland, and healthy. She came out to Stockton last weekend, ready to pitch. She got to say play ball. She got to throw out the first pitch. She was supposed to do a birthday race with the mascots, and so we were juiced. Now, knowing her, being 2 and tiny and a very, very stubborn toddler, terrible twos is a real thing, as you well know.
Where she gets
no idea. We practiced for weeks on her play ball because I was like, I think if I just keep trying to get her to say play ball on command, she'll just slay that and the crowd will love it. The first pitch, I figured, hopeless, right? No chance. I mean, she's 2.
She would throw underhanded, I assume.
I didn't think it was going to work out. So we set it all up. It was a game against the San Jose Giants, so it was like the Battle of the Bay, A's Giants.
Cool.
It was Blake Trinan bobblehead day, which was really cool. Good crowd. And so we went out there. We get down on the field, hot, like 95 probably degrees, blazing heat. And she gets down there. She's terrified of the mascot Splash. We tried to tell her it was like Elmo, this big red guy. It's like, it's Elmo. Go say hi. Wouldn't go anywhere near him. Ended up running laps around him, which was funny. I talked to my buddy Will McNeil. He's the guy you see in right field going crazy all the time.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Awesome guy. He does PA work for the Stockton Ports. So I asked him if they could find this song Fireball by Pitbull, which is one of Emerson's favorite jams. They found an instrumental version for her. Yes, I'll play it for you later.
No, I know what it is.
It's an incredible song.
I just don't know what
so
it is.
she loves the song Fireball.
Is listening to Fireball.
She loves it. She loves it. So
she's not drinking Fireball.
No, they played it for her though.
Put that in her bottle.
She went marching out onto the field. She got the baseball. She's standing there, and she did this like 2-handed shove throw, and it was awesome. It was incredible. She was just electric. Everyone loved it.
Nice.
So she comes back, and they're like, all right, it's time to do the play ball. Let's get the mic out. And we'd been gearing her up for weeks to say play ball. I mean, she was ready. She gets the mic in her face. They're like, all right, it's time to say it. Ready? And she goes,
oh, no.
just goes into her shell. Won't say it, right? So, like, in the spur of the moment, it's the funniest thing. It's on my Twitter account and Instagram account. You can see it. I say something like, uh-oh, we got to call somebody out of the bullpen. And right then, my 6-year-old daughter, Harper, jumps in and just goes, play ball! Oh, wow. And everyone just starts cheering, and it's so funny. And she just came in clutch, just right out of nowhere, right out of the bullpen, fires it out there. And then after that, we loaded her up with ice cream. It was time to race splash, and she's like, nah, I'm good, too hot, not doing it. So it was a really, really successful day, though, for the Pratt family.
Well, thank goodness for Harper being so clutch.
Right? Super clutch.
Why do you put so much pressure on your children? Basically? I think that's really where we should go with the next portion of the podcast. It seems like helicopter dad
it's
here.
No,
is that what,
no.
The 2-year-old,
yeah,
rehearsing?
We'll rehearse play ball.
How many hours? How many hours did you force the child to say play ball?
I locked her in her room until
dinner until I hear play ball, young lady.
Until she learned how to say her first words, play ball. No, I'm just kidding.
What? No.
She's really well spoken for a 2-year-old. No, that was not her first words. When you're stuck in the hospital as long as she was and not able to do a lot of things, I think she picked up a lot of verbal skills because she was kind of just trapped from a physical standpoint for so long. We'll get into the whole story of the saga that was Emerson's heart surgery another time. It's actually really sad and crazy, but she is awesome now. And the first pitch was great, and I cannot thank the Stockton Ports enough. It was really, really cool. We're going to have those memories forever.
That sounds like a great afternoon, with the exception of you trying to force your child screaming at the top of her lungs.
No way. Harper came up clutch. She was ready for it.
I think it's time for a question. Since Leonard is actually present and accounted for a change.
Wow. Okay.
He speaks.
Yeah, I do. Okay, so this weekend, Sonoma, NASCAR. Big gearhead. I always watch all the races, so I'm.
Are you serious?
Yep, I am. I've been watching NASCAR since I was 5.
Wow.
Dad has been into it. I've always been into it. I've been a gearhead forever, and I'm actually going to get to go out there and do like kind of a lap out on Sonoma Raceway, which is going to be super fun.
I did that once.
Yeah,
with your feet?
I did that once.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Is it amazing?
It's pretty cool. This is a whole other story entirely, but. There are these, you would probably know what they are, Formula Fords.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So we went out there, and I don't know how many years this was, and the Formula Fords, I think they go like 75 miles an hour top end, and there was probably like 10 of us, and you're going around the track, and immediately I just want to get in and pass as many people as, and they're like, do not pass. And because on that track, because of all the curves and the turns, it's complicated, not that easy. There's not that many places.
Yeah, we should say that like Sonoma is a road course. Right. It's not your normal like NASCAR turn left, turn left, turn left. This is like left and right, which can throw some drivers off pretty quickly.
So in the beginning, I thought, I didn't know there was a limit. I thought these cars are going to go 200 miles an hour. This is crazy. They're going to put us in these cars. So it wasn't that. So I went from, I don't know that I want to do this because you don't know what could happen out there, to let me go. I got this. And it was a lot of fun, though.
Yeah, I'm going to be driving an Audi out there, so.
Wow, look at you.
Anyways, since I've always been a person that has a need for speed, drove a 71 Monte Carlo for a long time where I would get up to 100 miles an hour in the country, never got a speeding ticket. But how about for you guys? Have you ever gotten a speeding ticket? When was the last one? And how fast were you going?
Oh, I do remember this vividly. Actually, 2 of them, but it was a long time ago. You want to go first? Or you want me to?
You go. You already started. You're good. Go for it.
Yes.
Don't ruin your reputation now.
Here's the first time I broke the law. I got a ticky-tack speeding ticket coming off of the Bay Bridge. This is probably 5 or 6 years ago. That one wasn't a big thing. I wasn't even going that fast, but the guy was just waiting. He was lying in wait. The other one that I deserved was coming through the Caldecott Tunnel, and this is many years ago, and I had a Jaguar at the time, which is just an invitation to get a ticket, and came through the Caldecott Tunnel going towards San Francisco, and I was doing 88. And I forgot what it was. It was probably there was some song that I was listening to. And
Fireball
like
by Pitbull. Yeah.
No, he hadn't even.
I know.
We didn't even know who Pitbull was then. I think it was like an AC/DC kind of thing, and I just and the guy and I didn't even know that I was speeding. I was like, look at the And he just
Let's
looked at me
be honest,
like,
it was "Bad Outta Hell" by Meatloaf.
No, it was not that. No, I don't rock with any Meatloaf anymore. But that's what it was, and I just kind of lost sense of where I was and what I was doing, and it was rocking out. And those cars, it was well, you would know it was an S series Jag, and those cars can go so fast. And
so in other words, you had no choice but to go that fast.
The car made me go.
It was the respectable thing to do for the vehicle.
Having the car.
Yeah, the vehicle's not used to riding slow. I actually got a speeding ticket. It was like 2 months ago. It was really recently, very recently. I had left work. I was coming down the grade, the 580. When you go past Castro Valley. And I was getting into Dublin. I was just cruising along, listening to a podcast. It was probably like 12:30 at night. I wasn't listening to anything exciting like Larry and his meatloaf. But no. I was probably going about 90 when I got pulled over. And
in what speed zone?
It was the freeway. It was probably like 70, 65. I don't know.
Okay.
It's probably bad that I don't even know what I'm supposed to be going. But there's nobody else on the freeway. It's 12:30. Honestly, I just wanted to get home and go to bed. And so they pulled me over, and I obviously was super polite. They were really cool. And there's like, where are you in a rush to? I was like, I just worked all night. I just want to go home and go to sleep, And I talked to them for a little while, and basically they wrote me up a ticket, and they wrote it up saying I was going, I think it was like 75.
So they were nice.
They hooked me up big time. I was like, I'm Larry Beale. You can't do this to me.
Yeah, that's
with authority.
Fantastic.
And they're like, all right, yeah, we'll take it easy on you.
For the record, mine was a decade ago.
Mine was like
not yesterday, like Casey Pratt.
I literally just got done paying for it. It was so recent. And racing, I don't want to get into this whole thing, but my uncle was a drag racer. So he was one of the first to break the 8-second barrier. I think he was Funny Car. I'm trying to remember. And when I was a really young kid, I used to get to go out to the races, watch him drag race, and awesome times. He even let me help him judge a bikini contest one time, and that was like, for young like 8-year-old Casey, that was like a life-changing experience. I became a man that day. And
how did does every race have a bikini contest?
I don't know. I haven't been to that many. Leonard might know, but I know they had one that day, and I got to help him judge it, and it was cool.
Not that you would look, Leonard, but
no, Leonard would never.
Never. Is that? Do they have a bikini contest in conjunction with the races?
Do they have that at Sonoma?
I don't know if they have it at Sonoma.
All right, well, you'll have
it in some places.
You'll have to report back to us on that after this weekend. And then I also did a lot of autocross racing in high school. You do it at like the Coliseum, where you're racing kind of road courses made out of cones. And we did it, the BMW driving experience. My friend growing up in high school, his dad was a BMW executive, so they invited us out, and we got to autocross in brand new BMWs. And since I already had experience, it was really fun. I got to, like, the drivers would drive us through, then we would go, and I actually crushed it. I think I finished, it's like less than a second slower than the race car driver. So it was crazy.
That's when you started speeding.
So that's when I started speeding.
Age.
I know how to drive really well because I'm trained in driving.
You trained.
That's why
when
I
you were
speed.
8 years old.
Yeah. That's a great question, Leonard. Now we're all going to get in trouble with our bosses.
But I feel like we're learning so much about each other on this podcast.
That's the whole point of the show, to be honest.
Leonard was.
I forget that it's a sport a lot of the time.
Racing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
We're sports
guys. I know
guys.
It's a sport, and I also know that people call it, racing sport, but I don't think of it like that, just because it's literally something I grew up with forever. And I've met everyone from, like, Jeff Gordon to Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Earnhardt, who else? Tony Stewart.
Oh, Lightning McQueen.
Met Lightning McQueen.
Mater.
Twice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Those are some of my favorites.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
News of the week?
News of the week
Time for news of the week.
This is what we've been teasing the whole show.
Now, this falls right in line with we're learning new things about each other all the time, because for a while you and I got swept up in the cryptocurrency phase that was sweeping the nation and the universe for a while. And the news is that, well, probably there's a lot of people that don't even know what cryptocurrency is.
It's basically digital internet money.
It's
dumb
magical money from nowhere, invisible money. It is digital currency, and people probably have heard of Bitcoin because that's the most popular out there. But Facebook announced that they are launching their own version of a cryptocurrency, and it's called Libra. And already within 24 hours of their announcement, there's a zillion people that want to shut it down before they've even launched anything. So I'll describe basically what it is. If you're into cryptocurrency, well, let's start with what cryptocurrency is as a digital form of payment. And its characteristics are that a Bitcoin is worth whatever you and I agree it's worth, or what the universe agrees. There's no government involved. It's not tied to gold locked up in Fort Knox or anything like that. It's basically what we all agree upon. And so it is ungoverned money.
Decentralized.
Decentralized.
Unhackable. Completely traceable, though, on a ledger.
Theoretically. But and every transaction is on a public ledger that is kept by a bevy of computers and servers that are
all over the world,
tied together. And so the second a transaction is done, it goes on the computers, and you can't get it to go away when you have thousands of computers involved, because it's going to be there. Anyway, so this Libra idea is something that Facebook has been cooking up for a while, and the more I read about it, my first reaction was, oh, this is kind of cool. You need a big company and one that everybody is going to recognize worldwide, because cryptocurrency is still sort of in the shadows. It's murky. People don't understand it.
It's a fringe thing
it's
still,
like,
I'd
I'm going to give you $1 that you can't see, and and I'm going to transfer it to you. And anyhow, so I thought, okay, this is going to legitimize the whole thing. And then I started reading more and more about the structure of this. This is not like a cryptocurrency at all. This is like PayPal. It basically is. In fact, PayPal is one of their partners in this. It's PayPal and Visa and MasterCard and Uber and eBay and Spotify and a bunch of VC firms and Coinbase, which is
where you can buy Bitcoin.
Where you can trade and buy Bitcoin. There's a total of 29 companies, and they're all huge companies. And I think that will help give it legitimacy, but it's not ungoverned by any means. In fact, it's tied to other forms of currency like the US dollar, like the euro. So it's not really what it purports to be as I read it.
Yeah, it seems highly centralized. It seems like it might be another Facebook play on your data and your information, and now they're coming after your financials. And it's amazing how quickly the governing bodies pounced on this. The second the news came out, we're talking about all these different regulatory agencies in all kinds of different countries that are already ready to pounce on this thing. The thing for me that I find hilarious is Mark Zuckerberg got sued, and the Winklevoss twins sued him because they said that Facebook was stolen from them. They won $46 million in this lawsuit, which tells you a lot about how legitimate their claims were. The Winklevoss twins then got into cryptocurrency and legitimizing it and making it what it is today. They had a big part of it. They have an exchange. Get this. Do you know what their exchange is called?
Well, I do know, but
Go ahead.
Tell
Go
everybody.
ahead.
What? It's Gemini.
Gemini, right?
Right.
Is that an astrological sign?
It's a lot. Isn't Libra?
Isn't Libra an astro? So wait.
They just...
Did Zuckerberg just steal the Winklevoss stuff again?
Well, no. I mean, he didn't call it Gemini.
He's creating his own cryptocurrency. It's named after an astrological sign, just like the Winklevoss crypto exchange. Come on, Zuck. Come up with your own stuff for once.
I just like that you call the
How else did you say it?
The Winklevoss is Winklevi.
The Winklevoss twins are the
they're-
Winklevi.
Like one octopus is an octopus, but if you have two, you have octopi. Now they're the Winklevi.
They're the Winklevi. So anyways, my takeaway on Libra is maybe it will be a way for the masses to learn and dabble in digital currency. I think it'll be good for Bitcoin because more people will get familiar with it. It might be an on-ramp. Think of Libra as a payment processor. Think of Bitcoin as a store of value like gold. And come on, Zuck, come up with your own ideas, man. That's my takeaway.
I'm wondering if it ever even gets off the ground because there's so many regulatory bodies that already are like, no. And I think one of the things that we talked about is because it's Facebook, and Facebook, by the way, has 2.4 billion users on its platform.
Yeah.
Because of all the problems that they've had with privacy and sharing your data with others without your knowledge, if it was anybody other than Facebook, I think it would have a much better chance of succeeding. If it was Amazon, eBay's involved. I was going to say eBay or Google or somebody. I mean, even Apple, a lot of people are against them because of their size and the influence they have on the
Apple
market.
has Apple Pay, which you and I could send money to each other or transact or make purchases using. So
I just don't know that Facebook is the right company to be at the forefront of this because there's so many questions about.
I agree, 100%.
Them taking your data and abusing it, and now giving them access to your financial data. Now they say, "Look, no, we're not going to do that." Okay, yeah, we've been down that road before. But the interesting thing that people don't necessarily understand, because if you have credit cards and you have money, you say, why do I need crypto? What is this crypto stuff? There's around the world 1.7 billion people who are quote unquote unbanked. They do not have 1.7 billion.
That's a lot.
There's only 7 billion people on the planet. So that's a lot of people.
Over a seventh of them are unbanked.
That's good math
that's
by
good math
you.
right
Yeah.
there.
So the benefit of this, and if you've ever tried to transfer money internationally, you get gouged.
Oh yeah, completely.
Or I mean, my daughter's doing a study abroad program in Australia, and to try to transfer her X number of dollars, the hoops that you have to jump through, unless you have an account with a bank that also does business in Australia. So this would make, you could transfer money almost instantaneously, country to country, and it breaks down all the barriers.
With minimal fees.
Yeah, there's a little bit that you have to pay, but the transactions theoretically would go through super fast. Now, the way they have this set up, at least what they say, is they would be able to do 1,000 transactions per second. Bitcoin is 7 transactions per second. So they need to, I mean, that's been an issue for a while. They need to speed up, because if you're going to have mass adoption, you can't ever be waiting for, I want to pay for my lunch, but I'm waiting on my I'm waiting for my Bitcoin miner to get going here. So we'll see. But if you're Facebook and you're doing this, think of all of the products and services you could put on your site for purchase. I mean, I can't even calculate how much that would be worth. But it's safe to say billions and billions of dollars. Yeah. So we'll see. And again, there's 29 companies involved in this consortium, and they're all trying to push.
It's just too bad one of them is Facebook.
Well, one of them could be Facebook. I don't know that they should be the leading proponent of this technology.
You know what company is involved in that list of companies that you mentioned that are a part of this Libra ecosystem? Spotify.
Yeah, I don't know why Spotify. You're going to pay for your music with Bitcoin?
Or this podcast? We have big news.
They should be advertising.
We are now on Spotify. Leonard sent me a text as soon as the account went through. We are up on Spotify now for your listening pleasures, which is huge news.
Is that a big
deal? It's a big marketplace. You can use all your Libra cryptos to. No, we're free. You don't have to. But you mean if you want to send us a tip, that's fine. We'll take it.
We will accept your Bitcoin.
We'll take Bitcoin.
No, I don't want Libra. I want Bitcoin.
Yeah, I want Bitcoin.
Until Libra gets started.
No Libra for me. But that is huge news. We are on Spotify. We're also on iTunes. We're also on Google Play. We are also on SoundCloud. These are all for your listening pleasure. And if you want to watch the podcast, it's also a video podcast. YouTube.
That explains these cameras.
Yeah, there's a lot of cameras in this room, all for the YouTube. So please watch the YouTube. If you only listen, you should check out the YouTube because we do a lot of dumb stuff on camera. Man, that was a crazy podcast.
That's it. And, well, you told everybody we're still, we got to get the giveaway going.
Well, now that the finals are over, we can finish.
We can actually
finalize our legal situations.
Everything's tied up.
Everything's tied up.
Imagine the legal on Libra.
There's a lot of lawyers making a lot of Libra coins.
Are you kidding me?
A lot of Libra coins.
The other thing that's amazing about this is you have 29 companies. Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Uber, eBay, Spotify, Coinbase. They kept it a secret. How did they keep it a secret? You can't keep anything a secret nowadays. That might be the most impressive thing of the whole project.
Or the most spooky and scary. Ominous, maybe even.
Oh, yeah. You're just dark. It's part of
stealing our data.
Your negative, pessimistic attitude.
Unless it comes to the Warriors, then I'm very positive.
Okay. All right.
Before we go, don't forget to subscribe, comment, rate, tweet us at Casey Pratt ABC7, at Larry Beal ABC7. Leave us your comments, and we may address them on the show. Bitcoin, I'm out.
Aloha.